Good morning, beautiful people. I hope you're having a great day so far. Today, I want to talk about sleep and how it is killing your diet, killing your grain, and how you can get more of it. I have a couple strategies for how you can have a better sleep hygiene and sleep more every night and sleep better while you are sleeping. But first, we need to understand, why the fuck does sleep matter? Well, first let's talk about the diet side of things. We know across multiple studies that if you sleep less, so people who are in a sleep restricted state are hungrier. And we also know that this correlates to higher food intakes. Normally around 300 calories is what we've seen in the literature. And this is because ghrelin, the hormone that makes you hungry, increases. Now, the most interesting study that talks about sleep, or just about sleep in regards to dieting, is they took 10 people, locked them in a hospital, had them eat the exact same calorie deficit. The only difference was one group had 5.5 hours of sleep every night, and the other group slept 8.5 hours every night. And this group that slept 5.5 hours, so both groups lost the exact same amount of weight. They lost the exact same amount of weight. So you might think, oh, well, sleep doesn't really matter then, right? Wrong. What they lost was completely different. The group that was sleeping 5.5 hours lost 55% less fat, 60% more muscle. Think about that. They essentially, their body composition, so their body fat percentage, didn't really change. They just became smaller humans because they lost muscle and they lost fat and they lost less. They were just in a shittier state. The other findings from this study was that their metabolisms dropped more than the group that was getting sleep. So they were burning less calories overall. And the calories that they were burning were not from fat. And they even tested that too. They can test whether your calories are burning fat or carbs. And this is where people get into the fasted cardio thing of, oh, well, you burn more fat while you're doing cardio. I'll talk about fasted cardio in another video, but overall it nets out if you're curious. Anyways, they tested that and they found that the people who were sleeping less were burning less fat as well. So that's why they lost less fat, is because their bodies actually shifted, their metabolisms shifted to burn less fat. And they increased the amount of the hunger hormone. Interestingly, their fullness hormone, so leptin, that one was not changed, but ghrelin was changed. And we've seen that in other studies that it makes you more hungry. Anyways, that was a long yap about the research, but what you need to take away from it is bad sleep is going to fuck your diet. You're gonna burn more muscle. You might lose the same amount of weight. The scale might say the same. The scale might be going down, but you're gonna be losing muscle. You're gonna be losing less fat. You're gonna be hungrier, and your metabolism is going to tank more than if you were getting good sleep. So that's the diet side of things. What about the training side of things? Well, obviously, if you're losing muscle, your training is going to suffer. But on top of that, you're not going to be able to push as hard in the gym. One bad night, so acute sleep loss, which is essentially 1 or 2 bad nights, has been shown to not really affect lifting performance. And I'm sure you've felt this as well, right? Everyone has had a shitty night of sleep and then you go into the gym and you still hit PRs. That can happen. That's all fine and dandy. But if it is chronic sleep restriction, that is where you start to see issues. That's where you start to see progress drop. You have issues with motor learning, you have issues with muscle activation, things like that. Essentially, I'm not going to get into all the specifics, but it's bad. It's not good. So how do we increase our sleep? We know it's bad for muscle, for growing muscle. We know it's bad for keeping muscle. We know it's bad for losing fat. So how do we get that 7 to 9 hours that everyone always talks about? Well, the easiest number one strategy that will make the biggest difference is move your phone charger. That's it. Move your phone charger. I'm serious. Move it across the room, or even better yet, in a different room. If you use your phone as your alarm, that's why I say move it across the room. That's what I do, is I have it across the room, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to. So one, this does 2 things. It keeps you off of your phone at night because you have to go plug it in. And it also makes you actually get your ass up in the morning. You can't just snooze your alarm 15 times. Now this is going to have a second order effect, which is it's going to help you maintain a tight sleep schedule. Our body we have what's called homeostasis, which is essentially just keeping things the same. Our body likes keeping things the same. It likes routine, structure, if you will. So Having a good sleep schedule will help you with your circadian rhythm. And what this looks like in practice is going to bed at the same time every night and waking up at the same time every morning. I understand that this is not practical for everyone, right? It's not practical for me. I work at a sports bar 4 days of the week. So 4 days of the week, I'm getting home at midnight at the earliest. And the rest of the week, I'm normally asleep by 11. So obviously I'm not going to bed at the same time every week or every night. And I'm not even waking up at the same time every morning. So I am not the best example of this. It's tough, I understand. But ideally, you're going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. And if you can, I would say try to control at least one of them. So if you have circumstances where you can't wake up at the same time every day, then try to go to bed at the same time every day. If you can't do that, then at least try to have one. Try to either go to bed at the same time every night or wake up in the morning at the same time every morning. This is going to help with your circadian rhythm. Now, another strategy is don't eat a big ass fucking meal right before you go to bed. It has been shown to just make your sleep worse. So don't eat a big ass meal right before you go to bed, and especially not a super carb heavy one, right? Carbs are your body's energy source. So that's fueling up your car, fueling up your tank, you're edging your body. You're getting it all revved up and then going to bed. So don't do that, or try not to, at least. And the whole protein before you sleep doesn't really seem to matter either. When we look at the literature and you compare it, as long as you're getting the same amount of protein in every day, you don't need to have 40 grams before bed. You can do it if you really want. You might get a little bit of extra gains, but I wouldn't stress about it. The other thing, back to screens, is try to cut screens, at least cut blue light. Most screens have a blue light, a night mode nowadays. So that's where it turns off the blue light, because the blue light keeps your brain thinking that, oh shit, there's daylight. Keeps your brain up. So try to cut blue light 2 to 4 hours before you go to bed. And blue light glasses can help. I would say it's not gonna be a downside to do both, to have your phone or your TV or your laptop on night mode and wear blue light glasses. But if you're not wearing blue light glasses with red tints, you're not really doing shit. So get red tinted blue light glasses if you're gonna do it. Wear them and do night mode. That's the best, that's the trifecta that you could do. But even doing one of these things is going to be better than doing nothing. Again, I'm gonna give you a bunch of strategies here. You don't have to implement everything. Just implementing 1 or 2 is going to be better than nothing. So cut the screens, cut the blue light. Having a nighttime routine helps as well. Again, our bodies like routine, they like schedules. So having a nighttime routine, something that relaxes you, takes you out of the day. Something like a hot shower is great. Journaling is great. Everyone's very anti-journaling. I'm a huge journaler. I'm pro journaling. But it's because I think everyone's afraid of journaling, or they don't want to do it because they have some weird idea of what it is in their head. I call it brain dump. Well, I call it brain vomit. Oh, brain dump. Yeah, I call it a brain dump journal. And then my clients will say, well, how do I brain dump? Word vomit on the page. I know when you're going to bed, I know you're sitting there and you're like, you have a million different thoughts just bouncing around in your head. Just get them out. That's it. Just write down literally every single thought that you have. Every single thought, just write it down. You don't even have to write it down. Preferably, you're writing it down on something, you're using a pen and a paper, but you could type it out too. This violates the rule of the, oh, no screens, but whatever, pick one. So journaling is great, drawing, coloring books. Man, if you haven't fucked around with a coloring book in a while, it's pretty sick, very relaxing. Especially, I'm not very good at art. I don't really care to practice. So having something where I can just color within the lines is nice. My girlfriend got a bunch of those. That helps. Journaling is a great one. A nice hot shower or a bath if you're into that. I've never been into baths. What's a good one? Oh, the temperature. Have your room cold as shit. I'm not kidding. 68 degrees is the scientific best temperature to have your room at to sleep in. And that might sound cold. It is, but that's what a fucking blanket's for. So and then that's another one. Weighted blankets are amazing. If you've never tried one, use one. It will change your life. But our bodies cool down when we sleep. And so having the room cool is going to get you there. So cool room, 68 degrees, a blanket, weighted preferably. You can try night masks too. Obviously having darkness is great. You need to have darkness. So if you don't have blackout curtains, get blackout curtains, or you can get a sleep mask. I tried those weighted sleep masks, and honestly, I did not like it. Normally I can fall asleep right away. I could not fall asleep very fast with that. Another thing that helps with sleep is, I just had it and I lost it. What helps with sleep? Oh, in terms of supplements, magnesium is gonna be one of the best. Melatonin is great. Melatonin gets a lot of shit, and it's because people just take way too much. 3 to 5 grams is really all you need. You can also take things like ashwagandha, tart cherry juice, L-theanine. Glycine is a great one. Glycine is probably one of the most underrated supplements in my opinion. Especially if you're a hot sleeper. I'm super hot when I sleep. I always wake up in a pool of sweat, and I started supplementing with glycine, and it helps me out a lot. So I would suggest glycine. But again, before you start throwing supplements at a problem, try actually changing your sleep habits. And I know I'm forgetting some things. These are just what I could think of off the top of my head, but if you implement these, I swear you will have 10 times better sleep. It will help you on your diet. It will help you in the gym. I hope y'all learned something. Love y'all. Peace.